Hi, everyone. I'm super excited and happy to bring on this interview with you today with my dear friend, colleague, Denise Jarvie. So, first of all, I'm going to introduce her quickly. She's a soul coach, author, and speaker. She's a passionate creator of her beautiful oracle card decks and also tarot cards. And she has done meditation CDs and a lot of courses. She also speaks on different platforms. She's what we call an uplifter, which is that she has ability to really help people understand why they do what they do and help them to clarify the next steps. So, you're meditation, Reiki teacher, you do so many different things. I know that you've been in the business for a really long time and have done, met different types of people. And so every time when I work with Denise, I always think that she brings a lot of wisdom to the table. So I'm really excited to interview you today, and I'm sure everyone will enjoy it today. Hi, Denise.
Hi, Sue Wing. Lovely to be here. Thank you so much for having me today.
Cool. So first of all, I want to talk about the topic for today. The topic that I picked today is about never give up, and also, understand the fine line between when do we say we're going to keep going, we're not going to give up, versus this is not the right thing for me, I need to change direction or refine. Because we all know that to really succeed in whatever we do, we need to have consistent effort. We need to, get better at it. And it's sometimes really time and experience to hone in something we treasure. So there's definitely, you hear it everywhere, that don't give up, keep going and all that stuff. But then there's also, I find it very tricky at times that, there is a time where we think, okay, perhaps this is just not for me. Or what about maybe the direction I'm going, it's slightly off track. Maybe I need to refine it. So does it count as giving up? Or, what if it is just not the right thing? And I think it is something that we all face at different times in our life. But I will really feel like that's probably a reason for me to pick this up. And for some people listening, maybe that's exactly where you are, that you're passionate about something, but at some point you're not sure how to proceed and you're wondering were you in the wrong direction or you need to change, maybe it's not for you. So I thought, who is best to interview and talk about subject like this? So I have Denise here today. So welcome, Denise. And so what do you say, like the situation I'm describing, you probably have it or you heard from your clients. So what would you say to people when that comes up?
Well, thank you for having me once again. Welcome, everybody. Well, it's a huge subject, isn't it? So never giving up. I think for me personally, there is this feeling. Let me come back to when I first stepped onto my path. So that's probably about 25 years ago. And I sat in a meditation class and I thought, I love the feeling that meditation gives me. I hadn't felt that anywhere in my life for a very long time. And I thought I wanted to feel like that all the time, but I had no idea what that meant. And I wasn't actually very good at meditating to start with. When people say, still yourself, my brain's going 10 to the dozen. My mind is just throwing all of these things at me. And I didn't know if I was relaxing. I didn't know if I was doing it right. But all I knew is that I liked the feeling of it. And I knew that somehow that feeling of feeling just peaceful and easy, peaceful is probably the wrong word, but just at ease and moving away from stress was something that I wanted to create in my life. And I didn't just want to have it when I was meditating, I actually wanted to feel that way in my life the whole time. So that was the question that started me on this journey, but I had absolutely no idea, one, what it meant and how I would go about it. And as time went on, I started to experience things. So that was an absolute knowing inside of me that I wanted that in my life and no one was going to talk me out of it. I just knew that this is the way I wanted to live my life because I had lived my life in a very stressful way and I didn't want to go back to that. So
I love what you just said, because for a lot of people, that's a really clear distinction that inside of you that's something you want to pursue, even though you were not good at it according to yourself. And I love it because sometimes, we do what we do really well, but we actually don't love it. Just because we're good at it, we do it. And then the reverse situation where you think you're not good at it at all, like, you know, you say you don't know whether you're doing it right. You think you're bad at it, but there's no good and bad in, you know, that sort of meditation or yoga or your own drawing. I mean, it is for you. It's no one to test or judge you, but you felt you weren't good at it, but you know that's for you. So you kept pursuing, which I think is really valuable to share.
And I had actually moved away. I'd been a hairdresser for nearly 20 years.
I always can see you have good hair.
Oh, thank you. When I left hairdressing, I had so many people around me saying, why are you leaving? We really love what it is that you do. You're really good at it. And the responsible part of me, or the part of me that wants to please people, didn't quite know what to do, because I didn't actually want to be doing hairdressing anymore. However, I felt like I was responsible for still seeing my clients, still making them feel good about themselves by doing their hair. However, I didn't really want to be there. So there was this push-pull thing that happened with me as well, because the rescuer in me, which is what a lot of an archetype, which of course is a lot of us healers have, I had to learn how to transform that rescuer from trying to do it for people to actually helping them do it for themselves, which is what I've been doing over the last 25 years. But there was this push-pull thing. But all I knew inside of me is that I did not want to be doing hairdressing anymore. It had been great for a long time, but it was time for me to do something different. And it takes courage to jump from that into a whole new career, basically, which is what I was doing. And however, and we all have it. We all know inside of us whether we really don't want to be doing what we're doing. But it's easy though to get caught up in the I'm good at this, what if I start something and I'm not good at it, or how am I going to go about it, you know, what's going to happen. And I can see
this is like the cat demonstrating, you know, leap of faith scenario.
yes. So, and of course, he's one of my inspirations as well. He helps to keep me centered. So, yes, I've got lost. The cat's got me lost.
I love it. So your story goes that, you know, you realize deep inside of you, it's no more hairdressing. You needed to change, and you found meditation feel good. And I know you became a Reiki master, and you obviously trained to become more intuitive. And that for people who don't know, actually, Denise have quite a few decks of oracle card, and with the booklet inside. So, you know, it has been obviously a journey. It wasn't done like over 3 months. So there's the flower of life. There's the secret language of life, which we will come back into. And also there was the other one, the one about love too.
The Art of Love Tarot.
Art of Love Tarot. So, you know, it's even though you see that you needed to change, it actually take, like as you said, 25 years to get to where you are today with all the great work you have done. So during this time, is there a time where you say, you know, is it really for me? Because that's what I really want to share with the viewers, that there's a time where you have doubt and say whether this is for me. What if it's not for me? The doors are closing, or maybe in your case the doors were opening. So, you know, tell us a bit how you navigate that change.
To navigate something like that, you have to have that strong pull to start with, that this excites me, this is where I want to go, this is what I want to do. And so that needs to be the foundation. There were many times, and there still are many times, where I wonder if I am doing not so much the right thing, but sometimes I wake up and think, what am I doing? Especially when things don't go the way you want them to. However, this work and inner work helps us to become more resilient. It helps us to be more graceful in our decision making and the way that we react to the world. Because to start with, I was very wobbly with many things. So as soon as something didn't go the way that I thought that it should, I was very wobbly and reactive. I shouldn't be doing this. I should go back to something else. And there was even a feeling inside of me that I needed to work hard and I needed to suffer for my money as well. That was an old belief that came from my family. And so there, I had that banging around in the back of my mind as well. And because I loved what it was I was doing, because I was running meditation classes, I actually retrained and became a remedial therapist, a massage therapist. I was learning to be a tarot master, so as in reading tarot cards, and I was learning to be a Reiki master as well. So there was a lot going on, but there was lots and lots of doubt. So how did I navigate it? By meditating, really. I had to stop. Every time I felt myself getting out of control, I just had to stop myself and count to 10, count to 5, and then find a way to bring everything back into that middle place.
Yeah. I will come back to that, what you said about the middle place. What I find it's really valuable to highlight is what you said. Sometimes we got a strong push, so we know the why because we know we're answering our inner calling. We know the what. It's definitely about helping people through healing arts, whether it's reading tarot cards or massage or Reiki or all this type of modality. You know the why, you know the what. But sometimes it's the how that triggers. Because we are very sure about what we want to do and why we want to do it. But then because we may not know the tools or the rope or the skills and techniques, running a business is not easy. Getting a first client is not easy. Or how to charge your people, is it too much or too little? Should I do classes or do I do online courses? Should I just see private clients? I mean, there's so many decisions, and each one of these cause us to, learn how to do it well. So that's a learning in that sort of running a business type of thing. So how sometimes can trip us because you say, oh, this is not working. But then you don't know whether it's not working because you don't know, say, how to run this class or market the class versus is teaching this the right thing. So I think a lot of us got tripped up on because we don't know the how very well, or we are not seasoned in how to
the how for me, I was very lucky that I had an amazing teacher, and I was working at a healing centre that she owned as well. And so I think having a mentor or a teacher or a coach or somebody there who can reflect back to you and help you to see things from a more balanced point of view, because when you're in it, we get caught up, especially me, because I can overthink everything. I've got all this stuff going on in my head, and
it's like, is it me, or is it the marketing? Is it the channel? Is it this? Is it that?
And then you're so caught up in all of this stuff, you don't know where to go and you don't know what to do. And it's very easy, because I can be very reactive, for me to just throw up my hands and say, oh, forget it. It's too hard. I don't want to do this anymore. But of course, that's just overwhelm, and we feel overwhelmed when there's too much going on. And so that's when we need to step back. And that's where a coach or a teacher or a mentor can really help you find some perspective as well. Plus, they've been through it as well. So they're a little bit further along the track. So they can also guide you, because they're never going to tell you how to live your life, because that's not what we're here to do. We're here to help people to empower themselves and find what's right for them. So how is one, having somebody there to reflect things back to you is such an important thing, because you don't want to just throw up your hands like I have done lots of times and say,
when you say throw up your hands, you actually still keep on doing it. You just that for a day or two, you're like, oh my God, this is not working. But you've been here still 25 years. So, and I definitely agree with you. I'm always working with somebody like a coach, a teacher, a mentor, different stages, you need different people, but, and also you need a community of people that are like-minded, can bounce ideas. And I definitely agree with you. You cannot do this alone. You definitely, you know, you is so much better in terms of results, and also how you feel about doing what you do when you have someone to work with you and being in a community. So
Oh
definitely.
yes,
So
it's but of course that's why we do what it is that we do. I mean, I had terrible depression and anxiety for a lot of years, but really all I ever wanted to do was connect with a community, and because I love being with people, that's where I find most of my creative ideas come from, through contacts, through connections, through chats, and through connecting with people. So it is a really important thing, and it gives our life, I won't say meaning, and for me it makes it more worthwhile, because I love people and I find people really interesting.
yeah,
And I want everyone to feel the best that they can in every moment.
and I definitely like the fact that I like working with different people, because sometimes they sort of see things you don't see, and you bring out more creativity. So speaking of which, I know you have a new deck, which is the Secret Language of Light, which you just showed us before. Tell us the story, how it came about, because I know you're working with one artist, but it didn't turn out the way expected, but you didn't give up and you keep going. So tell us the story, because I think it's really worth hearing.
I think you'll find most oracle decks, most books that anyone's ever written, they're never as plain sailing as what we, someone looking from the outside looking in may think, that, you know, you start with something, you write it and you publish it and it's out there. But of course it's a creative process, and creative processes, like our life, and never giving up, can be very much experimenting. You got to pull back, or that doesn't work, let's rejig that, let's do something else. And so the Secret Language of Light started out as a follow-up to the Flower of Life card deck that I did, the original one, and I started working with a friend and a student who is an artist, and I love her work and she loves mine, and we thought it would just be the most wonderful collaboration, and but somehow it just didn't really gel, it didn't work. And I had been encouraging her for a long time to actually write her own words to her images, because they're her images, and she channeled all of those. So, you know, there was obviously a lot of meaning to that as well. And so we did a whole card set and sent it off to the publisher, and the publisher didn't really like it and decided that they didn't want to publish it, which was after they'd already said they were going to, and it was just so, you know, so we were all excited, and then we were all
of course. And you spent like at least quite some time working on that.
And that was 12. Yeah, and that was 12 months work, and that was a back. There was a back catalogue of some of her work. She didn't have to do all the paintings, and you know, however, it was still a lot of work for both of us. And so then, out of that, the publisher decided that they really liked her images and they liked her ideas, and so she's now gone on to write her own card deck, which should be published in the next 6 months or so, which is really exciting and quite wonderful. And the publisher said to me they still liked my words, and they thought that they had an artist that would work better with my words. And so they introduced Daniel Holman to me. And funnily enough, the Vesica Pisces image, which is the two circles which are overlapping, I'd been using that image. I actually had a big picture of it in my studio, and I had been using that image for about 15 years. And so when they sent me through the images they had, that was one of them. And I started to cry, because, you know, things just, we don't realise sometimes that, you know, we might be going along somewhere and you hit a brick wall, but it's because there's something better coming, and we just have to be aware of that. So, and Daniel and I have similar ideas, and I'm ever grateful for his work, because it also inspired the Soul Mastery class, which is in the card in the booklet.
Mm.
So not only are there messages in the card deck, there's also a soul mastery class for each card. So if you want to go deeper, you can go deeper. And his work inspired that, because it is so multi-dimensional as well. And so that's how that came about. So really that's been about about 3 years work.
But I think it works out better for everybody, because actually, funny enough, did you know about Daniel's work before?
Only, as I said, the Vesica Pisces.
See, I knew him 10 years ago. Like, I knew his work. And then when I saw your card, I was like, oh, that's Daniel's painting. Like, immediately I make the connection. And I think it was really, because it really fit, and it really gelled really well. So he was one of my favorite artists when I first started out looking at images. So, and I think it's so lovely that it's a win-win situation, but you also put you all into a test, whether you are true to your own sort of path, because you want to do this, but then if the card doesn't gel, you can't force it, right? Like the images and it doesn't gel, you can't force it, because even if you say, oh, okay, let's submit it, the publisher didn't take it. So the universe is a bigger plan, because now it works out better for everybody. So it's, again, never give up, but understand when you need to step forward, when to step backwards,
and not take things personally. That's the biggest thing really I learned, because the secret language of, the Art of Love Tarot, that took 10 years to bring to fruition.
Yeah, for anybody who think about, overnight success, I keep on saying there's no such a thing. As in, those who have overnight success, or it seems, it's like 10 years of hard work. Overnight, you discover this person, or a lot of people discover this person. It's never overnight.
That's the momentum of things happening, isn't it? And it's all of a sudden you get to that tipping point, or that turning point, and then there it is. Because also I've had to work with my own confidence. I left school at 15, so I don't have any formal writing background. However, I've done a lot of work with that, and I have wonderful editors as well. But And I have been constantly, every day I was learning a new word. I was opening the dictionary, learning a new word, so that I could expand my vocabulary and all sorts of things. And when you really want to do something, you find that you start to fill in the gaps that you have.
Find a way.
And you just find a way, and it becomes fun. And it becomes fun. And just as a little side note, I love my work, and I will be always doing my work. However, I discovered CrossFit 2 years ago, and I'm about to start the process to become a CrossFit coach as well. So, I'm 53. Yeah, and that's it. I'm curious about learning and things that I love. And really, all of these things are about helping people to become more empowered, because all of these things have helped me to become feel better about myself and be more empowered as well.
What I want to ask you next is that, throughout these 3 years or the 10 years, there won't be time when, we got shaken, we have doubts, and we don't know whether we can ever do this. And sometimes we suffer from, comparison syndrome, where we're like, oh, someone else started later than us, but look at this, they have done this, I haven't. Or, you think, oh, maybe what I do, it's never good enough. Or some of us are very perfectionists, so it's never good enough to share. So tell us a bit about, how do we deal with the doubt? Because I know you also told me the story about the meaning behind the secret language of light. It's about helping people to find trust.
Yes.
Because I think it's very, very important to have that trust, because otherwise, how are you going to keep fueling yourself to march on for that 3-year project, for that 10 years project? So how do you build that trust within yourself?
And it is hard. And I'll just start by saying, I had pretty bad depression issues, anxiety issues, took things personally, reacted to things. I had a lot of work to do on myself. And learning to become self-aware is such a huge thing that will help anyone in this process. you know, I come from a stable of authors, which includes Alana Fairchild and Lucy Cavendish. And sometimes I have to pinch myself because, you know, because I look at their work and I think, you know, I'm being published by the same people that they are. And it's like, am I good enough? And I still think that on a daily basis. Well, I shouldn't say on a daily basis, but there are still times when I think that. However, that feeling helps me to just keep bettering myself. But those times when I was comparing myself and was very down on myself, you know, was just devastated by certain decisions that were made and took things personally. It is an incredibly difficult place to be. However, it is part of the process. And so the first thing to understand is that when that happens, you haven't done anything wrong. It is just, as I said before, you might be hitting a brick wall because something better is coming along. And so the first thing is to understand that there is going to be contrast. There's going to be good and bad things going on all the time. And it's okay. You haven't done anything wrong. It's no one's fault. It's not yours fault. And you haven't made the wrong decision. And that is really hard when you're in the middle of it. But if you can practice that on a daily basis, that actually gets you ready for when bad things happen, because you're not automatically just going to fall in a heap and just not know what to do. You know, you're already setting a foundation for yourself that it's okay, this is part of the process. And this isn't to say that you should just expect it either. There's that fine line. It's just somehow giving yourself the tools to look after your own energy so that you're not going to go completely down. You know, I mean, I always say to people, you know, because I'm quite a reactive person, I jumped straight out of hairdressing into my massage business, even though I'd had my own businesses. I know there was no overlap. It was just like, I'm taking a leap of faith. with nothing to fall back on. I mean, nothing. I had no money. I had nothing. It was just like, I'm going to make this work no matter what. And of course, all it did was just stress me out totally. And so that's the first thing I would always say to people is you've got to think about the path as well, and overlap things, try things a little bit and pull back, try it, pull back, try it. Don't just go, okay, we're going in.
Well, I think there's two camps of people. One camp is that they needed that. Maybe you were that, like when you were younger, maybe you're that camp where you kind of have to let go of everything so you can jump right in, so that you can really give yourself 100%, and therefore that pushes you. Some people like that and it works well for them. Some people are more like a slow transition. People like myself are more risk averse, but also I don't know, like it's just different because different work like different people like different style of working that actually helps them. So I think it really depends like from person to person. But I definitely agree that, you know, instead of saying I'm not good enough, we should always flip into looking at, so how can I get better at this? Or like, you know, we all sometimes feel, you know, you mentioned that, you know, compared all these famous authors, and suddenly that, oh my God, who am I? Suddenly, like, you know, but obviously people see you where, like, you know, see your worth, your talent. So that's why you're among them. Sometimes it's us, don't give ourselves the credit. So I'm often telling people, also myself, whenever I say, oh, I'm not good enough, or am I good enough, I flip it. I have to just consciously say, okay, say it differently. How am I going to learn from this? How am I going to get better at this? So we shift the energy from looking in like me, like, am I good enough and so forth. We go out and go, how am I going to do a better job to serve others? How am I going to create better impact? And that usually get me out of that silly place. Because to be honest, we all have it. Sometimes it's the setback, the triggers. Sometimes it's just because we missed breakfast. You know, it can be anything. So definitely love it. Now,
and it is. Oh, sorry, I was just going to say, I just wanted to reiterate that it's actually, and it's okay to feel that way. There was this, that's got better now, but I remember when I first stepped onto this path, there were days, you know, if you were feeling really bad, you were made to feel guilty for feeling bad because you had to be positive all the time. And it was like, well, you know,
We're
okay,
human.
yeah, we're human, but there's nothing wrong with trying to find something positive, as you just said, out of a negative situation. It's like, how can I learn from
Yeah.
this? It doesn't necessarily mean bad. It just means that this is not the path for you at this particular time. That's all.
And you mentioned early on that, you know, when you get, you know, into that sort of overwhelmed, stress, or not so great place, then you may take deeper breaths. You may count 1 to 10, maybe meditate. So I know that you kind of have some techniques that you can share with us to quickly bring us to balance. So do you want to, you know, share with us now?
Yes. So we'll just do a quick little meditation to just help you to become a little bit more self-aware of you so you can make a different choice. So if everyone just wants to make themselves comfy and just gently close your eyes.
Okay, I will practice that too.
Okay, close your eyes. And just begin to just take a few deep breaths in and out. And something that is really great for bringing you right into this moment and for feeling good is the breath of 4. And what that means is that on the next in-breath, breathe to the count of 4. So just take a deep breath in, 3, 4. We're going to hold for 4. And now breathe out to the count of 4, 3, 4. And hold for the count of 4. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. Breathe in and hold. Breathe out and hold. Breathe in last time and hold. Breathe out and hold. Now, if you do that, what I call the breath of 4 times, that is enough to bring you back into, to activate what's called the relaxation response. So now you're moving from the stress response into the relaxation response. And just 4 breaths, 4 deep breaths on doing that round of breathing for 4 will be enough to just bring you back into the moment.
Wow, that was really good.
Yeah. And then something else you can do then is just then when you're in that space is then just look at your thoughts and allow your thoughts to just come in and out without giving them any attention. That's a mindfulness technique. And then when you're allowing that to happen, then you can just scan over your body and just let go of any tension or tightness. And so you only need to spend a few minutes doing this. But one, you've relaxed, you've moved yourself from the stress into relaxation. You're now become aware of what you're thinking and you're letting go of any stress in your body, tension and tightness. And that in itself can take 5 minutes. And what you've just done is actually shifted your whole mind, body and spirit. And you've brought yourself more into a centered place where you can make decisions that are more based on your heart instead of what you think you have to do.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I think that was really good. I mean, immediately I was sort of, you know, much calmer, relaxed. And I really should do it every time before anything because, I mean, sometimes I'm overexcited, if you can hear me. But so thank you so much, Denise. I think it's been wonderful. It's always great to chat with you. And
yes,
thank you for sharing this technique.
Yes, yeah. Now, something else I just wanted to say, because you said you're overexcited. Meditation doesn't always necessarily mean you're going to be calm and relaxed. Yes, it will relax you. It will bring you into a centered place. But what it can also do is put you into a place where you will you're open to inspired action. So when you come out of the meditation, you go straight into what you're doing, because now you're aligned with it, and you can go. It doesn't mean that you're just going to be out of it and you're going to be calm and relaxed. So it's so it works. It can work in many ways. So I'm sorry.
I agree. No, I completely agree, because sometimes when I come on meditation, I will immediately have to jot down some thoughts, and I will do those things because they came to me during the meditation, or it becomes clear out of 10 things that was bothering me, I should just focus on 3 or something like that. So I agree with you. It's not always let's go to have a nap. It's not like that, actually.
Which is very nice as well.
I definitely think that meditation is probably one of the tools that I use to increase my productivity, because we can't keep on spinning that we think is really fast, but sometimes we're going nowhere. And meditation is a great pause to recharge, regroup, and then we can go again efficiently. So, well,
and something we can remember too, because when we've got lots of things spiraling around, so lots of ideas that are coming, it's really hard to connect to them, and that's when we can feel really overwhelmed. But if you can come to your center now, you can be, it's like you're the eye of the storm. Now you can sit in the middle of it all and let it all spin around you and decide, oh, I like that and I like that, instead of just letting it all affect you as well. So
thank you so much. It has been wonderful, and I'm sure you'll be back again. We always have a great time, and thank you for sharing the techniques and your stories, and I hope everyone will pick a thing or two from today's interview. So thank you, Denise.
Thank you so much, Sue Wing. Thank you for such a wonderful platform that you've created. And I just want to say to everyone, just always be who you are, because you are all beings of wonder. You are all wonderful. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.